Nearly 2,000 miles straight of winter storm warnings in effect, and we are right in the middle of all that here in the tri-state. Those warnings now in effect for us here in the tri-state, and they will be in effect until Monday at noon. Good morning, I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. We're tracking the latest on this major winter storm, not just major for us here in the tri-state, but for millions of Americans. Here's where the snow is right now. I mean, it's getting pretty close to us here in Cincinnati, but look, the heaviest snow, at least for now, is going to be south, and that's our forecast. We're tracking pretty light but moderate snow showers as we head into your afternoon, into your evening. But the heaviest snow that we see here in the tri-state, that is not being seen on radar quite yet. It's going to come in tomorrow morning and last throughout your Sunday as well. I know we're probably going to get a lot of questions about the forecast, about your respective location, and we're going to get to the snow map here in just a second. I'll do my best to answer as many questions as I can, but I do need to update the forecast as we are doing not only cut-ins on Fox 19, Channel 19, WXIX at the top of every single hour, but you can catch me right here as well at every 30, so 11:30, 12:30, 1:30. You can catch me right here, Facebook Live, on our Roku apps, on our website, Fox 19 Now Plus. We're getting you through this winter storm for sure. Winter storm warnings across, millions of Americans, but across the entire Buckeye State and the Commonwealth too, Kentucky and Ohio, wall to wall, north to south, east to west. Winter storm warnings in effect for the snow that is yet to come. Again, radar has been very quiet all morning as forecast, and we can expect a very different image this time tomorrow, because while the light snow is going to pick up this afternoon, the heaviest snow, it's yet to come. It'll happen tomorrow morning. Now, temperatures right now, you do have plenty of time. You've got hours before those light snow showers start to come into play too. You do have time to head out to the stores for some last-minute shopping trips, or if you just need to be out on the roads for any reason. The earlier you get out there, the better, because, believe it or not, right now the conditions are the best they're going to be all weekend, and it's very cold. Temperatures just now lifting into the double digits in Falmouth, Owenton, VV, Harrison, West Union, all at 10 degrees right now. The rest of us are still in the single digits, which means the wind chills, they're also well below zero in spots. Connorsville, -10. Wilmington, -11 wind chills. So if you are strapping on the boots, the winter coats, the hats, the gloves, you name it, you do have plenty of time before the snow does arrive. But you're going to be facing these very bitter wind chills all the way through the rest of your day today. Again, once we get into your afternoon, it becomes less about the cold, even though it's going to stick around, and more about the snow, in which once it starts, it's not going to stop. And that's the issue with our first alert weather days here, is that even though the snow starts today, 2 to 5 o'clock, and it starts pretty light, it only picks up, and that happens mainly Sunday morning, in which we can expect nearly a foot, if not more than a foot, of snow. That's 12 inches. 15 degrees your forecast high today before the snow rolls on in and just makes things a whole lot worse than where we're starting right now, which is with a good amount of clouds. But again, those snow showers going to be arriving later on this afternoon. Around 2 o'clock. It starts pretty light. You can see here kind of the lighter blues coming into play. I'm going to take you every 2 hours here. So here's 4, here's 6 o'clock. If you have tickets to the Cyclones game and you're good at driving in the snow, I think you're going to be okay. And that's because the heavy snowfall rates don't really start picking up until Sunday morning. However, once the snow starts, it's not going to stop until Sunday evening. So light to moderate snow showers can still make for really dangerous road conditions, and we'll start to see that develop as soon as this evening, especially for those in northern Kentucky, in which the snowfall rates are just going to pick up a little bit faster for you guys. But the rest of us, notice the darker blues starting to come into play the later and later I get into your weather timeline. And that's because that's when that Gulf moisture is really starting to feed that storm. What you see here, no one is experiencing quite yet. And that's because the storm is not at its strongest. We expect those moderate to heavy snow showers to start to pull into the tri-state really dark and early tomorrow morning, which means the image falling asleep tonight could be very different when you're waking up tomorrow morning, especially down in northern Kentucky. Now around 6 to 8 o'clock, notice we start to see the pink inching a little bit farther north, and that's because the storm track has pushed just a little bit farther north, which brings up the chance for a glaze of ice. Of course, that would minimize how much snow parts of southern Owen, Grant, Pendleton, Bracken, Robertson, Mason, Brown, and Adams counties see, but the impact is all the same, because if you see ice, you could argue that's even worse for the roads, especially once you put it on top of snow and everything. I mean, it's going to be really dangerous out there on the roads anyways. And while that's happening southeast, the rest of us are still getting pummeled by these heavy snow showers. And we're going to see those heavy snow showers all the way through Sunday, early afternoon. And by about dinner time on Sunday, that is when the snow showers are going to start to lighten up. Not completely stop, but start to lighten up a little bit, which means we've already reached 24 hours straight of snow in spots. We can expect those snow showers, though, to start to taper off, come to an end later in the evening on Sunday, I'd say anywhere from about 7 to 11 p.m. I've seen a lot of discrepancy across the models so far, but this one's saying around 8, others are saying closer to about 10. But it does still leave behind really dangerous road conditions. Like I've been saying all morning long on the air, I would be very surprised if we didn't see any delays, any cancellations for Monday morning, because while the snow showers will have come to a stop, the active snowfall, the impact is all the same. Any untreated roads will still be snow covered. Not to mention, it's going to get colder before it gets warmer. We're waking up Monday morning with wind chills below 0. And then, I mean, we are seeing just the inches upon inches of snow, which of course has an impact in and of itself. So before I start addressing some questions, let me show you that updated snowfall outlook. Again, this has bumped up a little bit farther north, and with that brings higher snowfall totals to us here in Cincinnati. Could see a foot of snow, maybe a little bit more. Not just here in Cincinnati, but for parts of Switzerland, Ohio, Kenton, Boone, Campbell, Claremont, Brown, Highland, Adams counties, and then even northern parts of Owen, Grant, Pendleton, and Bracken counties too. And then those even farther south in those counties I just listed, because you guys are starting to see a greater likelihood of some sleet coming into the mix, not only do you have the chance for some heavy snow, but the sleet that might mix in would actually start to reduce those totals a little bit. Just because it's a little bit warmer, the snow will melt a slight bit. Whereas the rest of us, primarily seeing snow, we'll see a foot, maybe a little bit more. Lower totals, but still major snow being seen north of Cincinnati, 10 to 12 inches looking likely for those in Butler, Warren, Clinton, Northern Highland, Dearborn, Northern Hamilton, Northern Ripley, Franklin, Fayette, and Union counties right now. And then that's all the way from Saturday afternoon through Sunday night. That's over 24 hours straight of snow here in the tri-state. Those winter storm warnings, I mean, they started 23 minutes ago, and they're going to last until Monday at noon. So, all because of everything that you see right here. Let me go ahead and put in perspective what we can expect one more time, because while this is going to be a very impactful winter storm for millions of Americans, we are kind of in, for lack of a better term, the worst spot, because we are on that line between heaviest snow possible and a little bit of sleet and freezing rain coming into the mix. But I'd say today, I mean, the sooner you get out the door, the better if you need to be outside. Hopefully you can escape the chance altogether, because it's still very cold outside, very bitterly cold. Highs today only in the middle teens. Conditions are going to worsen as the day goes on, and that's because the snow, as soon as it gets started, it's not going to stop. It's going to be pretty light throughout the day on throughout the evening on Saturday, today. But then as we work into your Sunday, that's when the snowfall rates really start to pick up, and that's when things start to get worse very quickly. Sunday morning, waking up to a good amount of snow out there, and we're only adding more on top of it. By the end of the day into your evening on Sunday, most of us will have seen anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of snow, maybe a little bit more in spots, and we're not done with winter. That's just getting started, really. The Arctic air floods in behind all of this action, and we're waking up Monday morning below 0, which means wind chills are going to be down to -20 at times. Very bitterly cold. Okay, I'm going to pop up the snowfall map, and we're going to go ahead and answer some questions really quickly. JD is tuning in. What's the weather for Canton tomorrow morning? Cold, snowy. John, good morning. Watching from Columbus area, getting ready for Snowmageddon. Yes, Columbus, seeing those winter storm warnings as well. You guys are also kind of under the gun for nearly a foot of snow. I know some of my friends that work up in Dayton are watching for those higher snowfall totals as well. Thanks for tuning on in. John, hoping and praying nobody loses any power. It's a real concern for sure. Losing power. I know we were saying earlier in our shows this morning that all it takes sometimes is on average 6 inches of snow to take down those power lines, and we're seeing easily more than that. And so wishing for the best, but make sure we're preparing for the worst. And so that's why if you haven't gone to the store to get those water bottles, if you need a new phone battery charger, like a portable charger. I mean, time is of the essence, folks, before the snow starts. But remember, it starts pretty light and then gets really heavy tomorrow. Andy's tuning in. That's one of my big concerns is power outages. Absolutely. I think that's probably the most widespread concern is power outages, plus also a freeze of the pipes. So make sure you're leaving a little drip out there on the faucets. John's tuning in. Do you think we'll have a level 3 snow emergency in Ohio? So I believe the snow emergencies go based off of county, and it's the sheriff that issues them. And so I think we will absolutely see level 3, depending on where. I think it's mainly going to be southern Ohio, but the more rural communities also, the snow emergencies are a case-by-case thing, meaning that if a county that's maybe a little bit more urban, perhaps they just have more resources, they're able to tackle the snow a bit better, they might see a level 2, whereas a level 3 is a lot more likely for an area that's a lot more rural, perhaps doesn't have as many resources or staff to take care of the roads. But I think it's absolutely possible that we see a level 3 snow emergency, and that's actually a great segue into what I'm about to show you, which is our list on fox19.com of snow emergencies around the tri-state. We update this pretty frequently, and you can see, well, our last update was from 11 o'clock last night. So Ohio, there's plenty. I mean, Cincinnati has a snow emergency starting Saturday afternoon, and so quite literally you're not allowed to be parked on the roads, some roads and spots for Cincinnati. Mount Healthy, Reading, Springdale, there's snow emergencies already out for all of those communities. And then Kentucky is really when the list starts to get long, and that's to no surprise to us because that's where we expect not only heavy snow, but also the chance for some ice. And so Boone County, a level 1 snow emergency already declared. Butler County's Butler, Kentucky rather, snow emergency declared Saturday through Monday. Campbell County, Crestview Hills, Falmouth, Fort Wright, Gallatin County, Independence, Kenton County, Pendleton County. I mean, the list goes on, folks, and there's probably more to be added to this list, let's be honest. And that's because snow emergencies are being issued. Okay, so here's the levels, kind of breaking it down for you guys. A level 1 means roadways are hazardous, be careful. Level 2, roadways are hazardous with blowing, drifting snow, and the roads may be icy, but it's kind of more enhanced. There's more snow. There's more concern out there on the roads. So only motorists whose travel is necessary should be out on the roadways. But a level 3 is when essential travel is only, that's it. Advised. Violators, you're subject to prosecution. Residents urged to contact their employers concerning their work schedules. Yeah. No surprise there. And then there's also travel advisory levels. So if your state doesn't have the snow emergencies, perhaps you have the travel advisory. They go based off of the color code, yellow, orange, red, yellow being the lowest level, but still a level, and then red being the highest. Kind of goes based off of the same sort of situation for the snow emergencies, but just called something a little different. Again, you can find this list on fox19.com. We're, again, going to be updating this pretty shortly, and you can also get my forecast on fox19.com as well. There it is, updated 49 minutes ago. I just recorded a new video, and you can also, on our website and on our Fox 19 First Alert Weather app, you have this fun tool for you guys. It's our radar, active radar. You have it in the palm of your hand, in which you can see the snow. It's starting to get closer to us here in Cincinnati. But again, like we've been forecasting, pretty dry so far, but as we work into your afternoon, that's when things are going to start to change. Great tool to have, for sure. Okay, let's keep on rolling with some questions. Mary's agreeing, I think we'll have a level 3 snow emergency. I wouldn't be surprised. Some people asking about their respective locations. Hopefully you can look at my map and determine where you are and then kind of get it from there. But I'd say the heaviest snow that I'm tracking here, going to be Cincinnati south. Kind of put a line from west to east, and Cincinnati south. That's where we see the heaviest snow. And a little bit of sleet coming into the mix for southern Owen, Grant, Pendleton, Bracken, Robertson, Mason, Adams, and Brown counties. That will work against the snowfall, but it will still contribute to the impact just in the form of some ice. So again, if you guys are asking about your respective locations, just make sure you're looking at this map and getting that information for you guys. But generally, everyone can expect a good amount of snow. Most snow we've seen in a long time. John's saying if there's one silver lining in this storm is that it's happening on the weekend rather than during the week. Yeah, great point. I think some teachers would argue differently and some students too. They want the snow days. I think it's very possible that we still get that on Monday despite the snow coming to an end, but the impact does remain all the same for sure. And it's going to be even colder on Monday. Derek's saying tow companies will be busy. I know mine will, absolutely. Maria's asking about Tennessee, mainly ice and snow down that direction. Jenny's asking when the snow is going to start. Very good question. Those south and west of Cincinnati, they will see it first. So down towards Vevey, down towards Williamstown, very southern Ripley County as well. You guys will start to see the snow creeping in around 2 o'clock this afternoon. Here in Cincinnati, closer from about 3 to 4 o'clock, depending on where you are in Cincy. And then those north and east of Cincy, say Wilmington, closer to about 5 o'clock. So it's moving from southwest to northeast. But then eventually, we're kind of just seeing this swirling moisture, and that's just leading to relentless hours of this snow. Seeing if we have any other questions coming on in. Yeah, just a lot of people asking about their respective locations, and yeah, I'm a forecaster and meteorologist for Southwest Ohio in the Cincinnati area, so we have a lot of viewers who are asking outside of the viewing area. I mean, the entire state of Ohio under winter storm warnings. Same thing with Kentucky, parts of Tennessee. Even Tennessee has some of those ice concerns too. Even Kentucky, for that matter, has the ice concerns as well. But yeah, we have a lot of questions about that. Again, the timing of this is really important, and I'm going to show you guys one more time what the timing is going to kind of look like here for today, which over the next 30 minutes, we're just seeing these clouds sticking around. But by 2 o'clock, here comes the snow. It'll start very light at first. If you have tickets to the Cyclones game, if you're good at driving this in the snow, I think you'll be completely fine. But the conditions will only worsen as the night goes on. So if you have work tonight, if you work third shift, it's going to be very different falling asleep than it is waking up tomorrow morning. Or, excuse me, if you're working third shift, going into work, it's not going to be as dramatic as when you're leaving work. So making sure you're giving yourself, bring your like emergency bag and a car in your car. I personally did that myself, even though I'm going to be here inside the building. It's always good to have those tools should you have that worst case scenario and you're kind of stranded. It's good to have those protocols in place just for yourself when something like this happens. And then by about 6 o'clock this evening, I mean, the snow showers will have been going for hours already. So accumulating snow, that's what I'm seeing for this evening. But it's pretty light, moderate at times for those in northern Kentucky. But again, you guys, very different image falling asleep tonight versus waking up tomorrow morning, in which we can expect several inches of snow being added on overnight alone. And that's because these snowfall rates, notice these deeper blues coming into the mix by the dark and early morning hours, about 2 to 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. And we just hang on to those heavy snow showers, especially south and east of Cincinnati, where we actually start to see that wet snow turning into a bit of a sleet. And that will, of course, create some icy concerns. And that'll happen around the mid-morning tomorrow, continue through your early afternoon. And while that concern for ice is being seen south and east, the rest of us will have just continued to see snow during this time. So very snowy conditions being reported and concerns rather of travel. That will just continue all the way through Sunday evening, even into your Monday morning, because even though the snow will come to an end Sunday evening, the snow will stay on the ground wherever it falls until it is moved or until it is treated, which means, I mean, the road crews can only do so much, folks. And the snow, because it's being kind of just piled on top of itself, especially in the overnight hours when it's dark outside, when it's cold outside, especially cold. We just need to give ourselves a little bit more patience, give crews a little bit more grace, and realize that everyone's just trying to do their best with the situation at hand, in which keeping the roads entirely clean all the time for over 24 hours straight is just not realistic. It's not even possible for snowplows to be that efficient. Of course, they are trying their best, but with over 24 hours straight of snow, you're going to have snow-covered roads regardless of how much you're treating them. And that's why we've been stressing the importance of being prepared for a day like today. Okay, let's see if we have any questions coming on in. A lot of questions about people's respective locations, which I'm going to pop up my map one more time for you guys because the time now is 10:35. I'm going to give myself a little bit of time here before I have to do my first countdown on channel 19 there with the latest information. I got to get that latest information for you guys. Other questions coming on in. Cheryl's asking a good question. Are these totals even if we do see sleet? So if you do see sleet, you'll see lesser totals. And that's because sleet is just a little bit warmer than snow. It'll actually kind of work to melt the snow a little bit, which you could argue is good, but with a refreeze, with very cold temperatures, and just with the nature of sleet, it will be icy. So snowfall totals might be a little bit less than what we have shown here. If you see the sleet, the impact is all the same. Okay. And John, very great thing to kind of put a bow on here. If you don't have to go out, stay at home. Yes, especially for tomorrow. I mean, it really starts today. Those snow rates do pick up, though, overnight into your Sunday. You do have a few more hours before the snow starts. It does start pretty light, but then once it gets started, it's not going to stop until Sunday evening. Of course, we're going to be on top of this every hour on the hour, every half hour on the half hour. You can catch us right here on Fox 19 Now Plus on our Facebook page. Anywhere you stream Fox 19, we will be here. And then, of course, on Channel 19, Fox 19 on your TV. We'll be there at the top of every single hour, giving you guys live updates as to what we are seeing and live updates as to what to expect. And if any changes happen in the forecast, you guys will be the first to know. But for now, signing off here in Queensgate, I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. I'll see you guys soon.